grave failure of waste management and sewage services in the Federal Capital Territory, and the rampant desecration of designated green areas and the alleged unlawful seizure of land belonging to Buhari Hospital and other public institutions. Sponsor Senator Ireti Kingibe, co-sponsors Senator Aliyu Wadada Ahmed, Senator Imaswa Neda, Senator Abbas Aminu Iya, Senator Dankwambo Ibrahim Hassan, Senator Kalu Oji Uzo Kalu. Sorry. The Senate notes with utmost alarm and indignation the total collapse of municipal waste collection across multiple districts of the Federal Capital Territory, where refuse has remained uncollected for several weeks, turning residential neighborhoods, markets, business districts, and public spaces into open dumps and breeding ground for disease. Also notes with deep outrage that waste management and sewage workers under the Abuja Environmental Protection Board and other FCT agencies have allegedly gone unpaid for approximately 9 months, a gross administrative failure that has triggered prolonged industrial action and paralyzed essential municipal services in the nation's capital. Further notes that former waste management contractors were owed arrears between March and October 2025, effectively crippling their operations, and that despite these outstanding liabilities, new waste management contracts were awarded in mid-November 2025, arbitrarily retaining only 50% of the unpaid contractors while introducing new ones without resolving existing financial obligations. Disturbed that the newly engaged contractors have formally stated their inability to commence operations without a 30% mobilization fee, therefore compounding delays and entrenching a sanitation crisis that threatens public health and safety. Deeply troubled that sewage systems across the FCT have been blocked and overflowing for nearly 8 months, with accumulated waste and untreated emissions now reaching catastrophic levels, constituting a clear and present danger of epidemics, environmental contamination, and large-scale public health disaster. Aware that the continued failure to clear sewage and waste exposes residents to cholera, typhoid, dysentery, and other waterborne and sanitation-related diseases, and represent an unconscionable breach of the government's duty of care to citizens. Alarmed that in several instances, even where land disputes are subject to ongoing litigation, the Honorable Minister of the Federal Capital Territory has allegedly proceeded with demolitions, revocations, and reallocations in flagrant disregard of subsisting court processes, thereby eroding the rule of law, contemptuously disregarding judicial authority, and violating the Land Use Act and other extant laws. Concerned that the egregious case of the University of Abuja, a critical national institution whose lawfully allocated land has been severely depleted, with approximately 7,000 hectares out of an original 11,000 hectares taken over, reallocated, and subjected to unauthorized use, leaving the university gravely constrained and unable to fulfill its statutory, academic, and developmental mandates. Observes with great concern the systemic and brazen encroachment on designated green areas under the Abuja Master Plan, areas legally reserved as service corridors for sewage, water, electricity infrastructure, environmental buffers, and flood control, through illegal revocations, forced evictions, and unlawful reallocations. Also observes that these actions have far-reaching implications for public institutions, private citizens, investor confidence, national development, and represent only a fraction of numerous similar cases within the FCT. Recognizes that the destruction of green areas gravely undermines urban safety, environmental sustainability, infrastructure integrity, and the long-term viability of Abuja as a planned capital city. Recalls with dismay that the Senate, barely 1 year ago, was compelled to intervene on similar issues involving unlawful land administration, abuse of ministerial discretion, and disregard for due process in FCT. And notes with profound concern that these practices have persisted unabated in apparent defiance of legislative oversight. Constitutional and legal and constitutional anchors recalls the provisions of the FCT Act 1976 mandating strict adherence to the Abuja Master Plan, the Nazria Act 2007 empowering enforcement of environmental and sanitation standards, the Abuja Environmental Protection Board Establishment Act mandating waste and sewage management, the Environmental Impact Assessment Act 1992, the National Health Act 2014 safeguarding public health, the Land Use Act 1978 protecting land held in the public interest, particularly for health and education, Section 88 of the 1999 Constitution as amended, empowering the National Assembly to investigate maladministration and abuse of executive authority. Cognizant that continued inaction will amount to a gross dereliction of constitutional responsibility, endanger lives, violate multiple statutes, and further degrade the integrity, safety, and livability of Nigeria's capital city. Accordingly resolves to 1. Call on the President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, GCFR, in his constitutional capacity as the de facto governor of the FCT to order the immediate and unconditional payment of all outstanding salaries, wages, and entitlements owed to waste management and sewage workers and contractors under the AEPB and relevant FCT agencies. 2. Urge the Federal Capital Territory Administration to immediately restore full waste collection services and ensure the emergency evacuation of all accumulated refuse across the FCT. Also urge the Abuja Environmental Protection Board to immediately deploy sewage intervention teams to unblock, rehabilitate, and restore all failed sewage systems in order to avert immediate disease outbreak. Demand that the FCT Minister and the Federal Capital Development Authority, FCDA, immediately cease and desist from all revocations, reallocations, demolitions, and alterations affecting designated green areas, pending a comprehensive audit and a strict compliance review with the Abuja Master Plan. Constitute an ad hoc committee of the Senate to conduct a thorough, time-bound investigation into the non-payment of workers and contractors, B, the collapse of waste and sewage management services, C, the procurement of processes, financial capacity, and readiness of engaged contractors, D, the status, encroachment, and illegal conversion of designated green areas, E, the compliance or otherwise of FCTA agencies and officials with the statutory, constitutional, and judicial obligations. I so submit.
I commend the minister. The minister works for a president. The Federal Executive Council is directed by a commander-in-chief. So I would rather say that I commend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the massive development and change that we have witnessed in Abuja. Since I left office as governor in 2015, I've lived here in Abuja, and I also witnessed what Abuja was like. I'm sorry, I'm not running down any previous administration, but under this administration, what the president has done in Abuja has given hope to all Nigerians. Today, Abuja is almost rated as one of the developed cities in Africa. I moved from the villa towards Asokoro. When I pass through that bridge, most times I get confused. Initially, I used to shout on my drivers. I said, where are you going? That I want to go to Asokoro. And they would tell me that this is Asokoro. I said, where are you passing? They said the new minister has changed the landscape. I've also had the privilege of commissioning many projects. At the time this minister commissioned projects every single day for up to 1 month. Every single day. The vice president, the president, it was an amazing situation. So for me, if there are issues of please, when our distinguished sister, Ireti Kingibe, said she had a matter of urgent national importance, I thought it was on one subject, but what I'm seeing here is on all subjects. It's on waste disposal, it's on land allocation, it's on, what do you call it? Huh? It's on workers' welfare. It's on, there are many now. So what is happening here is clerk of the Senate, leader of the Senate, leader of the Senate, leader of the Senate, motions that tend to, they don't focus on the subject matter. Please, I think you may need to have private discussions with some senators. Because if you are having a matter of urgent national importance on waste management or waste disposal, you stick to it. You focus on it. That is our rule. But when you are asking us to go into payment of salaries, payment of wages, allowances, then waste management, then you go into demolition of property, you go into land management, you go into this. This minister has a president. The president will direct the minister on activities, and yes, he will be getting approvals from the president from time to time. I think this is too much. This is no longer. Would you describe this as a matter of urgent national importance? Please speak on what speak on what this paper is all about.
To begin with, sir, I want to emphasize yet again that matters of urgent public importance are matters that ought to be truly urgent. And the legislative intent of orders 41 and 51 being taken together in our rules is for us to be able to demonstrate that the matter under discussion is so urgent that it cannot even wait till the next day to be placed on our order paper. Ideally, Mr. President, matters like this, as raised by distinguished Senator Ireti Kingibe, are matters that should come under substantive motion on our order paper. There should be motions on notice. And to the extent that she had discussed with the Senate President, and the Senate President
she discussed with the Senate President about waste management.
Not
about
waste
lack
management.
Of, yes, not land allocation.
Okay.
Not payment of salaries.
So definitely, in that words, I want to say that the manner of presentation of the motion itself will go to show that it's in violation of our rule. It's not consistent with our practice and procedure. And to that extent, I'm sure rather than us going into prayers, she can be advised to withdraw this motion so that she can properly, again, put it together and bring it. We send it to Rules and Business to be brought, on our order paper as a substantive motion, if she still feels strongly, about the issues. But there should be no dilation of any. The subject matter should be clear and addressed specifically. Thank you.
Be referred to the President of the Senate before commencement of the day's sitting, and the President of the Senate shall refuse to allow the claim unless he is satisfied that the matter is definite and urgent. So, Mr. President, she came under this order.
Yeah.
She ought to have told you the entire content, the details of the motion. And now you are saying she didn't tell you. She told you about
Waste management.
waste management. So this motion is dead on arrival because it's not in conformity with this order. You ought to have known the entire content of the motion. So Mr. President, I just want you to guide so as to allow our colleagues to understand this because of the future. Thank you, Mr. President.
I represent Anambra Central Senatorial District. Mr. President, but for the content of Order 4151, which required the distinguished senator to show you her motion, what she intended to present through that Order 4151. From your explanation, you were not briefed with all the details of this motion before you permitted her to go on. Otherwise, Mr. President, the content of the section on waste management is a very serious matter for this Senate to discuss. If the Senate is not minded to take all the things at the same time.
Senator Ome?
Yes.
Senator Ome?
Yes.
I must stop you. She mentioned the fact that there is a failure of the sewage system in Abuja and that it is a danger to lives of human beings. I said it's urgent enough to bring it to the Senate floor. So, but when she's talking about allocation of land and reallocation and talking about demolition, talking about payment of salaries, so this is no longer under Order 41. Distinguished colleagues, please.
The way she came is inappropriate.
I want
should
to
be advised to separate the content of this
and
motion
then flagrant
and bring
abuse
a formal
of
motion.
FCT Act. And all those things are not for, this is like a total proof of the entire. Senator Mongunu, can you please
There
move
are so
a
many
motion
things
on
in
the
one.
way forward?
Okay.
Please.
So many things.
So that we can.
Mr. President, distinguished senators, once again, my name is Mohamed Tahir Monguno. I represent Borno North Senatorial District. Mr. President, having initially called for investigation of the matter based on the principle of audi alteram partem, but after listening carefully to the remarks of the President of the Senate, to the extent that he is not fully briefed of the content of the motion, I still rely on Order 41 to say that you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. It is bad and it is incurably bad. Therefore, Mr. President, I urge my sister, Senator Ireti Kingibe, to withdraw that motion because it is in flagrant violations of our rules. And there is nothing to discuss before the Senate based on our rules, because you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. It is bad and it is incurably. The operating word here is incurably bad, and therefore it cannot proceed. Thank you.
Request her to withdraw her motion because
To withdraw her motion and properly bring a motion only on sewage issue, which seems to be something that is urgent and needs urgent attention of the Senate, based on the discretion of the President of the Senate. Thank you.
So the violation of NESRA Act, FCT Act, allocation, reallocation of land, demolition, payment of salaries, payment of allowances, all these things were not, they are not they are not part of Order 41.
They are not part of the issues raised with you.
They were not part of the issues raised before me.
With you. And based on rules, all these things are supposed to be fully raised with you. You should be seized of the facts of the motion.
So, are you?
Are you called? Thank you, Mr. President. Go to you in deceit because she came up with a subject on environmental
waste management,
but both issues that are not connected with that: non-payment of workers and contractors, procurement processes, financial capacity, readiness of newly engaged contractors, the statutes, the compliance, otherwise of
in fact,
many things that are not connected.
There's even one here that I've just seen. Depletion of the land of Federal University by 7,000 square meters.
It's time for us to withdraw this motion.
It's important for us to get to the root of it.
This motion has to be withdrawn.
Please, sorry.
Let her come back with it. No, this motion has to be withdrawn.
Senator Ireti Kingibe be allowed to withdraw this motion?
Yeah.
Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. Kingibe said that she has a motion of urgent national importance in line with her rules, and that it has to do with the total failure of waste management in the FCT, which is affecting lives. That is urgent. But in our motion here, we are seeing something about non-mobilization of contractors. We are seeing something about, it has nothing to do with waste management. We have seen something about allocation and reallocation of land. We have seen something about demolition. We have seen something about depletion of the University of Abuja land. We have seen something about allowances. So I want you, as a national importance. And what we are advising is that in view of the fact that too many things are bundled into this motion, can she pick the item that is most important and bring back to us? And the senators have taken the decision, but if you are sitting down there and then I heard Senator Ningi saying she's a senator, she has the right to bring a motion. So if you bring a motion that is incurably bad, must we wash our dirty linen in the public? Can't we withdraw the motion and bring back another? Can we do consultations?
Thank you very much for recognizing me.
6. My point of order is order 52, sub 6. And if I have your permission, I will read. It shall be out of order to attempt to reconsider any specific question upon which the Senate has come to a conclusion during the current session, except upon a substantive motion for decision. 2 quick issues, sir. Number 1, and I said it with all due respect to Mr. President as our presiding officer and the chief interpreter of this rule, the only question that could be put on this matter was whether or not this Senate consider the issues raised by the single Senator Ireti Kingibe as urgent enough to be taken today. That is the only question that can be put. Number 2, when a motion is brought and it is discovered that there has not been compliance or substantial compliance with our rules, the only thing to do is, to kill that motion and move on. We have a lot on our order paper, and there's no point to be going back and forth. We don't even need to advise the single Senator Ireti Kingibe to bring back a motion. It is a right, as observed by Senator Ningi, to bring a motion. The only position we have taken as a Senate is that this cannot qualify for a matter of urgent public importance. She can bring her motion back at her discretion as a substantive motion. And if anyone has anything to say on this again too, the person will have to come by way of substantive motion. So that is my position, sir. We need to move on to other things on the other paper.
The Senate has taken a decision that in view of the fact that this motion does not qualify under Order 4151, that she be advised to withdraw the motion and then consider bringing a substantive motion for discussion. But and that decision was taken. So I was waiting for her to formally withdraw. But if she does not withdraw, then the Senate has no other option than to kill the motion, if you call it so.
That's why I say, with due respect, sir, she does not need to withdraw the motion.
Or she doesn't need to?
The Senate is to decide, is this matter a matter of urgent public importance? You know, we have seen that she did not comply with Order 41 because you told us that she didn't brief you. You were not seized of the details of this motion. She only talked about waste management. She didn't talk about all the other things when she discussed with you. So the only question to be put here is, does this Senate consider this matter to be urgent enough to be taken today?
I will represent as a substantive motion.
Okay.
On just waste management.
Thank you. This motion, and she intends to bring up the motion on waste management, which is something that she thinks is urgent and important. Would the Senate accept the position? Those in support say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it. So we look forward to that. Yes, leader of the Senate.